Well, let's talk about Cottage Garden by Uwe Rosenberg. Uwe Rosenberg came out with some tile laying games, a little series of them, and this is my particular favorite one. I enjoyed the others, but I like this one a lot. Obviously, it has to do with gardening, and I want to show you a little bit more about this game. Introduce it to you, if you will. Here's the rule book. It's easy to understand. You're not going to have a problem here. And what I find cool in the rules here is that you can play this with children. There are some rules so you can play this with little children. I haven't played this with little children, but I think it's cool that they have rules that you can do that in here. But let me read you some flavor text to give you an idea of what this game is like. Cottage Garden, a colorful sea of flowers framed by walls, paths, and hedges. And as ambitious gardeners, you face the challenge of filling the beds in every corner of your garden with plants inspired by the limitations of space to create ever new compositions. You will use a variety of plants as well as flower pots and garden items to design gardens that bloom with diversity. Yeah, you will. What's the goal of the game? In Cottage Garden, you compete in the art of gardening, clearly. You plant 2 flower beds with different flowers. Yeah, you're going to get 2 of these boards that you're going to be filling in. You score each flower bed when there are no more free spaces visible on it, and then you exchange it for a new unplanted one. So yeah, you're going to be filling this out completely, and then once you're done filling this, they're double-sided, you'll grab another one, and you're always going to have 2 of them that you're going to be constantly working on. Let's see. You receive points for all the visible flower pots and garden cloches on the completed flower bed. And you may also receive flower pots and cats that'll help you with your gardening. And I'll show you those in a second. But as you can see here, you have printed on the boards already some pots and some garden cloches. Now you can get as tiles, well, here's a kitty cat. These are super cute. I'll tell you about the cats in a second, but I'll tell you about the cats now. The cats basically help you fill, look at the little sleepy kitty. They help you fill empty spaces because you have to fill the board up completely. Now you can go ahead and pop one of these pieces on top of one of these printed pots and garden cloches, but you wouldn't want to do that. You want to try to avoid that because these are going to score you points on this little point track here. You're going to get this, right? So you're going to have these little cubes here, and you have garden cloches, and you have pots, and those are the points you're going to be scoring in your garden. So all these boards are going to be different. Now you can have little tiles that have garden cloches on it or pots, and you can actually get pots. So like on your turn, you can pick up one of these tiles or you can pick up a pot. And you'll need these pots sometimes and the kitty cats to be able to fill your board up because depending on the shape you're going to get. Basically, you have this board here and this die. On a 2-player game, you're going to have about 32 turns. Right? Because the die starts at number 1 up here, and then as it goes around, it turns to 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, right? So, but what's the point of this? The point is that the die will tell you what column or row you can take these tiles from, because this is going to be filled in with a bunch of these tiles. In the beginning of the game, headed by this cute little, what? It's missing the little front wheel. It's in the box somewhere, but this little cart. Headed by this little cart around the board, you'll have a bunch of these tiles. And that's where the tiles will be coming into the board as they're needed, right? Because when there's enough empty spaces, you can refill. But depending on where the die is, it'll tell you from what row or column you can take those from. So there's you'll have an opportunity to look ahead and be able to see which tiles are going to come around. Now you're always going to be playing with 2 boards, so if a tile's not good for one board, it might be good for another board, depending on your garden construction here. But again, you're going to be scoring points by having these garden cloches visible and these pots visible as well. And like I said earlier, there are tiles that contain the garden cloches and little pot tiles as well, and also the cats, which will help fill in the space. But you want to have as many of these pots and garden cloches visible so that you can score more points in that track I showed you earlier, right? Gee, Alex, what's a garden cloche? A garden cloche is like a little greenhouse, right? Now, I live in Florida, so you know, this is already a greenhouse here, so I don't see garden cloches in gardens around here. But you know, this game came from Germany, so I'm assuming there they use a lot of these garden cloches. But they're basically small little greenhouses that you put over potted plants and different types of plants to help them be healthy and grow, right? So you can have a gorgeous, beautiful garden. And you know, these tiles are very cool, different shapes, very pretty. It looks really nice. Let me see if I can show you on the rule book here. Yeah, you know, like I was telling you earlier, you see, that depending on where the die is, that means you can take a tile from that. If you don't want to get a tile from there, you can grab a pot. Right, and you're also going to be able to get kitty cats and stuff, and like I said earlier, those help fill your board. It has to be completely filled before you can get a new board, and that's when you score, when it's completely filled. All the exposed pots and garden cloches will score you points. So around the board, it's going to be set up like this, right? It's going to go around the board like that. And you'll have your, well, this is kind of how the game's set up. See, you'll have your two boards. You'll have your score track. You'll start with a couple of little tokens there, and then the board there. And then you have, look, there's all the different tiles you get. Those are pretty cool. And see, there are little garden cloche tiles as well. And let me see if I can show you something else from this manual here. But it's a pretty manual, and you know, there's some obvious things here, like, you know, you can't plant with part of your tile sticking out. Look, you can cover, you know, you can cover a pot and stuff, you know, like let's say you put it there. But you know, if you can avoid it, that would be good. But anyway, that's it. So you're going to be doing that, filling your boards and getting new empty boards, and you know, and putting these cute kitties. Let me see if I have one here. There you go. Putting these little sleepy kitty cats to help fill the space. Little pots to help fill the space. The more pots and garden cloches you have visible will score you points on this track here, and you keep doing that for turn after turn after turn. It's an enjoyable journey because you're trying to figure out, you know, how you're going to fit these. They're double-sided, so you can you know, put them in any way that'll fit on your board. It's a small board. It's a small little garden. You know, you get a big chunky piece like this and a big chunky piece like that, and you have to think about, you know, where can I put this so it doesn't block some of these other things. But like I said, you can block it on here, but you know, why would you want to do that? Cottage Garden, it's a fun game to play, a thinky game to play, but not too thinky. You know, you're just putting the tiles on there. You're scoring points. It's got cute kitty cats. It's attractive. You know, you're building your garden, and I really enjoy it. So that's my introduction of Cottage Garden from Uwe Rosenberg to you.